Hi, this is Ferre with TaxSaleSupport.com, and I'm here with Stephen Swenson for another one of our Deal of the Week videos.
Yeah, and what's kind of unique about this video is we're actually going to talk about sold results.
Yeah, we're going to look at some auction results today that were from a sale that happened in Riverside County, California.
Yeah, now as far as California is a tax deed state, and after somebody has been delinquent on their taxes for 5 years, then they'll go ahead and foreclose on the property and offer it up at an auction.
Yeah, so essentially 5 years worth of delinquent taxes plus penalties and fees is the opening bid amount for the property. They have both live and online auctions in California, but they don't offer over-the-counter opportunities. They simply resell the properties or do re-offers.
Yeah, so today's auction we're going to review is the Riverside County auction that happened on April 30th.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the, we're going to go to the results here live so that we can see exactly what it is and show you exactly what happened here. So, first off here, we're going to go into, from tax sale support, we go into, and we can go, go here, it's going to take us to where the sale was held, which was through Riverside, through Bid for Assets. And we can actually go back here, and this is the sale right here, which we can see, and they've got the results down here. Now you can download the lists, plus we've got the auction folder. So what I did was we downloaded the list here, and then just highlighted some of the properties that were pretty good deals. And one of the things that became apparent was that most of the good deals that we found were good land deals. You know, they were good land deals where people picked up, good pieces of land for fair prices. And we'll kind of show you what we mean here. We'll go and take a look here at some of the results that look. Now, there were still also people that paid too much for property, just like always. Always people that pay way too much, for property. But, we did find a fair amount here. And so I tried to highlight properties that looked like they were purchased at maybe between 10 and 25 cents on the dollar.
Well, and one of the things is some of these properties that may be, ignored could actually have more profitability than properties where, people are competing against those properties. So maybe a structured property, it has high competition, which is going to raise the cost of the property. Not only that, but you've also got to put in money into fixing the property up, doing rehab costs. So when you're just talking about some of these land transfers of these land properties, you're not going to have any of that type of cost involved.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so let's take a look at it. For instance, if we're looking at some of these, we've got some good ones to look at. For examples are some of these here. We noticed so let's look at numbers 1122, 1123 here, which they are going to be about. See what that puts us at here. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so here we've got some of the results that we can see, and the amounts, and we can see that these were actually larger pieces of property too. These were not small deals. These were kind of bigger. These were bigger pieces of property. But let's take a look at exactly what the results were. So we can see that the first property here that sold for $230,000 is what I was going to show you here, and let me just show you some of the details here that we can see. So we're looking at the property here, and actually let's click on it and go directly to it. Okay, so $230,000 is a lot of money, but it also has a fairly high value. You can see there of about $812,000. We can see from here that it's 20 acres of land, located in this area here. We've got the parcel number essentially.
Yeah, if it's worth even what the assessed value is, there's potential to make $500,000-$600,000 on the deal.
Yeah.
And if it's worth more than that, there's a chance to even make more.
Yeah. So we can see that it's right here, and this is also listed. If you noticed, that it's vacant land listed predominantly for residential use. So let me we can kind of zone out here a bit, and you can see that it's not out in the boondocks. It's kind of part of town. It's in an area that is that's actually fairly usable here.
Yeah, well, you can see there's a subdivision just to the north of it, and bigger homesteads next to it. So somebody could look at this property as a possible homestead property, or doing something more like subdividing, like the property up above it.
Yeah, exactly. Tons of opportunities here with these big chunks of land. I'll show you here some more here of these. So we've got here, they paid $160,000 on this property right here, but if you go to look at it, it actually has quite a bit more going here for it, on the property. Lots of these are also located right next to each other.
Yeah, that one looks like it's 5.75 acres, has an assessed value of about $236. And I think you were telling me that the one that was right above the one we just looked at sold for $230 as well, but they were adjoining pieces. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay, and here's the one actually that I actually skipped one down. They paid $82,000 on this one right here, and it's valued at $812,000. This one's 10 acres of land, and so just based on the numbers alone on what they paid, the bid value is like 10%, which that is so rare for a California sale. We never see that with California sales. They also had quite a bit of property that sold starting out at $100 that we noticed that sold for for as little as $300 to $500, $800. A lot of these had pretty good value. But let's take a look at this one right here that they paid $80,000 for. That is valued at $800,000.
Now, again, we're looking at the high end, but there was even some properties that sold on the low end as well. So, you didn't have to have $200,000 or $100,000 to compete in this auction. But there was some pretty big deals for investors that have that type of capital.
Yeah, in fact, here, let's pull that thing up again since it's not really... Looks like it was freezing up here on us.
What was actually kind of unique is they actually had some properties in this auction that started at $100 bids.
Yeah. In fact, there is actually quite a bit of it. Waiting there, pulling it up. It's just freezing up to show us the actual map here on this particular 10 acres. But one thing that we can also see is that it was part of a transfer where it sold for $650,000 in 2005.
Yeah. Well, and either way, we can see the assessed value. We can see what it was paid for, and in looking at the map before, we know that this was a property that has use.
Yeah. In fact, there are a lot of these great properties, and what's interesting, like we were talking about here with the inexpensive properties, I just wanted to show everybody here on this form here that there were a lot of these properties that they had that started out. I mean, we're talking about a couple hundred properties like this, that started out at low dollar amounts, and again, they didn't bid up to crazy amounts. They I would say that a lot of these, at least 50 to 100 of them, sold for under $1,000.
Yeah. Well, and there were some that sold for a few grand, that were worth 10 times that amount.
Yeah.
And so there were some that maybe sold $2-3 grand that could have been worth 30 or 40 grand.
Yeah. It's really interesting. There are so many of these that are, lots of land purchases in this auction that turned out pretty well for the buyers.
Well, and there's always going to be competition because this is, one of the cheapest ways to buy real estate. So you're always going to have people that are going to compete on certain properties and pay more than they should on certain properties. But in a big auction like this, where there's so many properties available, it really gives us as investors a chance to get into those auctions and look at maybe some of the properties that other people are neglecting and see what type of deals we can get on those.
Yeah, so really why we're covering the results from this sale here is because, our theory was that there was going to be less competition than what we've seen recently. And while, it's California real estate, so you still get a lot of crazy people paying way too much, it wasn't as extreme as we've seen in the past.
No, I think our prediction, in a way, kind of played out where there was less people bidding than we've seen in years past. Even if we were to compare that to last year, there was less competition than last year. And so even if we just judge that, there was definitely, an increase in bidding and more opportunity for deals.
Yeah, way more opportunities this year, definitely, than there were last year. And so that's a good trend for tax sale investors and something that we love to see.
Yeah, so if you're interested in learning more, go ahead and check out our membership program at taxsalesupport.com. It's going to give you access to our list, to all of our auction lists, to our weekly webinars, all of our training books. Really, it's a huge value.
Yeah, and we want it to be that way. It's intended to be something that's inexpensive that you can do and still learn a lot for those that just want to learn how to start investing without spending their life savings.
Yeah, exactly. We also offer a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Yeah. Hey, if you like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up.
Thank you again.